My name is Melissa. Welcome to this vinyasa class. Starting at the front of your mat, we're going to hinge at the hips coming towards a forward fold. As you come down, if you need to use blocks to reach the floor or bend your knees deeply, allow yourself to do so. And begin by pedaling your feet. So the balls of the feet remain in contact with the floor as the heels lift. You might feel a good deal of stretch through your hamstrings. I'm keeping my rib cage fairly close to the thigh. So that's why having the blocks may be helpful. And then I'm going to hold a hamstring stretch. So as I bend my right knee, I'm going to really ground down through the left heel and maybe even folding a bit deeper. So I want to feel like this whole back of the left leg is getting longer. An optional add-on, walking the hands to the right, so towards the bent leg side. And I'll even think of the outer left hip drawing back and towards the right. So I'm increasing the tension, the stretch, through the whole left side body, outer left hip, and maybe even the hamstring. Bring your hands back to the center, bring your right heel down, and then bend the left knee. Again, belly button in, maybe you increase the fold. Maybe you also experiment with tipping the weight slightly forward towards the ball of the right foot. And then the add-on, if you choose it, walking your hands a bit left. If you're using blocks, you're walking the blocks over as well. Right outer hip pulls back and towards the left. Bring your hands back to the middle. Again, pedal up the feet, loosen it up. And then bring your hands down to the floor and step back to a tabletop position. So in your tabletop position, we're going to do a few cat-cows. I like to coordinate my exhales with cat and my inhales with cow, but if you do the reverse or the opposite, that's perfectly okay. So rounding out, cat, bring the chest forward for cow. Head, round it out again, chest forward. Round it out last time, and then chest forward. Bring my hips towards the heels. This is like an active child's pose. My gaze is a bit forward. I'm going to round my back, curling forward towards cat, so the shoulders over wrists. And send the chest forward, so then you're in the cow pose. And then shift your shoulders a bit more forward. So you're still in cow, you're going forward with the chest, and then tight elbows, bend your elbows so you can go chest and chin down to the floor. As you send your chest forward, straighten out the body, pointing the toes, and come into a baby cobra. So baby cobra means I'm not putting weight in my hands. I'm using my upper back muscles to lift the front corners of my shoulders and my chest away from the mat. And then I'll tuck my toes and send the hips back to active child's pose. We'll do that 2 more times. So round it out. Come towards cat, then go to cow. Maintain your cow as you lower. Baby cobra, active child's pose. So it can take a little bit of practice to fully feel that or flow it. We'll do 1 more time around. And then cow. Hold the cow. Bring it forward as you lower. Squeeze those elbows. So if you can squeeze the elbows and really find more of that Chaturunga workout, lift the chest for the baby cobra, and then we'll go back active child's pose. So active child's pose just means the elbows don't touch the floor and you're looking forward. Okay, so legs are loaded. You might float your knees a touch. See if you can hold that. And then use the power of the legs to lift the hips up and back. You're now in downward facing dog. hold your downward dog. So from your downward dog, we're going to lift the right leg. So right leg high, 3-leg dog. I like to do square hip and a straight leg. And then a big step forward towards your right hand. Put your left knee down. Inhale, lift the arms. And maybe add a little bit of back bend if you feel it. Good, bring the hands back down. We'll step back. Downward facing dog. Left leg high. Left foot forward. So low lunge, Anjaneyasana, so arms can come up, and maybe you go a little bit back if you feel good. Good, hands can come down. We're going to practice a full flow. So if working our Chaturunga, if you don't do that practice, if you'd like to come all the way down onto your knees or even skip it, it's okay. Shift forward. You're going to lower to the low plank, upward facing. Again, cobra if you prefer, and downward facing. So between our sequences, we're going to have a vinyasa flow, and if you prefer that one or the chin, chest lower, you are welcome to do either. So this time, right leg goes up, the right leg comes forward, high lunge, high lunge. So back knee will not touch the floor unless you're modifying. Inhale up. So now you're in high lunge. We're going to be lowering the left knee towards the ground. So as you bring that knee towards the floor, you might touch it or almost touch it and then come right back up. I'm not straightening the front leg. I'm keeping it bent. Again. Can you keep your upper body vertical? Last time. Good job. Hands to the floor. Optional flow. If you prefer not, you skip it. Halfway down. Upward facing. And downward facing. Left leg. Lift it up. Big step forward. High lunge. I'm going to go down with the knee. And straighten. Down with the knee. And straighten. So modification could be this whole thing with the hands on the floor, if you prefer. Right? Hands to the mat. Step it back. Lower, halfway or all the way. Right? Go slow if you're working on your strength. Upward facing. Downward facing. So as we rest, if you prefer to be in tabletop or child's pose or even just sitting, you are welcome to sub that in, right? Pacing yourself so you know that you'll make it to the end. Go up with the right leg. And a big step forward to the right hand. So now the left heel is going to turn in. I'm going to keep the toes a little bit pointing forward. Nice deep bend in the right knee. And come up to the warrior two. So in warrior two, shoulders are over the hips. Arms are wide. If you can, you make it low, you make it deep. We're going to come into reverse. Reaching the right arm back. And then we're going to flow it to side angle. So just elbow to knee here, and left arm up and over. See if you can make a straight line from your left ankle to your left fingers. Reverse. Again, I'm moving slowly, trying to maintain solid foundation through the legs. Right, and freedom through the upper body. Last time. We'll just hold here in our side angle pose. I'm light through the elbow. So again, working the legs. You might start to feel the burn through the legs here now. You've already been holding. Can you go another 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good job. Hands to the floor. We'll step it back. Option to add a flow or skip it. Upward and downward. Check in with your breath. So it'll be the same thing on the other side. Left leg high. Take a big step forward and pause. Turn your right heel down. You have about a heel to heel alignment. Nice deep bend in your front knee. Cartwheel the arms up, warrior two. So find your spacing. Open out the arms. Strong base, relaxed upper body. So we come to reverse, right hand down, left arm up. And then left elbow to left knee, right arm up and over the ear. This is side angle. Reverse. So you'll notice that the lower body doesn't change. It doesn't bob up and down. This is two. And last one. And we hold our last side angle. Hold it here. And then we'll bring the hands down to the floor and step back. We can rest or we can add a flow. Like low plank, upward facing, and downward facing. Allow yourself some breaths to rest. If you're staying in downward for rest, see if you can make it still. Maybe you can make your downward dog more beautiful, more lengthened. Make it feel lighter through your hands and feet. Walk the feet forward towards the hands. You could also step or jump if that's part of your practice. Take your feet at least a hip width apart. You can do toes forward or turned out. Coming into Malasana. So Malasana is low squat. If for you, you prefer to be a little higher, right? Maybe that's all your knees or ankles will allow. That's perfectly okay. You could also have your hands on a surface, like your blocks or a low chair if you need more support. If you feel you can go a little bit lower, right? Avoid being in the basement of your squat, right? Let's see if we can build a little bit of strength and actually lift out a little bit. You'll notice my spine gets a little bit longer here. My chest is open. And I'm feeling the work of my hips, my low belly, my low back, and the pelvic floor all at the same time. And forward fold. Let the head go down. Inhale, flat back, and we go hands to the floor and step back to downward dog. So, we are going to be moving towards squat through our lunges. And know you can make the lunge or the squat a lot higher if you find it's challenging to come low. So we'll lift the right leg and step it to the outside of the right hand. Hold this low lunge, so hands are on the floor. And the challenge is going to be to keep the hips fairly low as we step the left foot forward towards that low squat. So if you need to lift the hips to bring it forward, that's okay. When you step it forward, again, try to keep your active low squat. You might take a moment or two up. And then we'll just reverse and go back to down dog. So hands on the floor. You're stepping your left foot back. If you can, keep your hips low as you do this. So left foot steps way back. You're in that lunge. And then step the right foot back. Downward facing. Optional to add in a flow right here. Plank. Lower. Upward. And downward. So we'll do that same transition from lunge to squat on the left side. Left leg high. left foot steps to the outside of the left hand. So you're in a deep squat. And your hands could be on blocks if you find that it's a little easier to be higher. Transfer weight to your left foot as you bring your right foot forward to low squat. Lift your chest. Take a breath or two, nice and strong. You're going to come back and reverse it. So we're going right foot back first. Again, try to keep the hips low for maximum challenge. Downward facing, and again, you can choose to just sit out and rest out of flow if you'd like. Take a few breaths here to rest. Walk it forward, you could step or jump. Inhale, halfway, and exhale, release. Stand up. We're going to work a little bit of balance. So we're first going to balance holding onto the knee. And then the second time, if it's a part of your practice, to hold the toe or hold your foot up using a strap, you can do that for the second time through. Okay? If you fall out completely, don't worry about it. You're just practicing, and again, you go through it twice. So you might be holding the knee both times, one time just to feel it out, and second time to deepen perhaps. So start with weight down the left leg. You're going to bring the right knee up to float in front of you and hold with the left hand. Right hand can come to the hip. And now I like my right hand on the hip, so I can actually think of sinking that right hip down. Right chest up, right hip down. If you find this challenging, then just stay here. You'll keep your gaze forward. If you feel okay, take your gaze to the right. Maybe stay. Pause, feel tall. Feel your left ankle calibrating. Right? Try not to pull that knee across the body. You're just holding it in front of you. And then bring your chest back to center, release, and switch sides. So right leg, balancing leg, supporting leg, left knee up. Right hand holds the left knee, left hand on hip. You might stay here, you might add the twist. So as you look to the left, feel like you're not only taking your gaze to the left, but you're actually turning the chest over to that side as well. So when we change our gaze, right, things can get pretty challenging pretty fast. So don't worry if you start to find that this is a lot harder because you're looking somewhere else. Take it back to center and release. So now we're going to try holding the toe, or if you have a strap, you might loop it around your foot. Again, you do not have to straighten the leg. You might just be working on holding that foot, but not straightening the leg, and that already is a big challenge. I'm going to turn to the side. I have a little more space this way. And maybe I'll turn this way so I can turn to face you. So left leg is the supporting leg, just like before. I'm going to start by holding the right toes with the left hand. So I actually like to take an over the foot grip, right? You might just be holding the knee again. As I hold onto the foot, I'm going to try to stand up tall to begin. So if I can't stand up tall, that's already going to make things hard. From here, you might press your foot any amount to straight, any amount. Sink that outer right hip just like before. And if you want, you can extend the arm. Try to feel tall. Take up your space. And then bring it back to center. Release, and we switch sides. So again, if you fall out, don't worry about it. Works perfectly fine, even with a bent knee and you working on your balance, right? Lots of work already. Right leg is the supporting leg. I'm going to hold my left foot. Again, if I'm holding the foot with just my hand, I like the over the foot grip. So it's going to be like this.
Left hand on hip. Find your balance. Find how much you're going to stretch out the side. Might not be the same. Outer left hip heavy. Take your gaze over to the left. Okay, you maybe add the arm or not. And then we'll just come back to center. And step. You're towards the front end of your mat, feet about hip width apart. We're going to come back to that hamstring forward fold that we did at the beginning of class. So go ahead, hinge down, fingertips to the floor or to your blocks. Paddle, paddle, paddle. So you've done quite a bit of work through your hips and your hamstrings. Let's see if it feels any different. So bending your right knee and keeping the bend of the right knee, right? Heels lifted, but ball of the foot is on the floor. Walk your hands to the right. Just notice if it feels any different. Left outer hip is swinging out to the back right corner of your mat. Bring your hands back to the middle. Place your right heel down and then bend your left knee. Again, you might be staying here, right? This might have been enough for you. You might walk your hands out to the left. Feel your outer right hip swing to the back left corner of your mat. Press down through your right heel. And then just come back into the middle. I'm going to come into low squat, so if you need to adjust your footing, please do. Your low squat. And then I'm going to sit. So if you need to put your hands down on the floor to avoid the crash landing, put your hands down first. And then we're going to lower onto the back. So please take your time as you roll that. If you can go slow, a little bit more challenge for the body. Once you come all the way down, take a moment. You can walk your feet in. We're going to do a little hip opener. Right ankle over left knee. So this is threading the needle. You know it. Right hand through. Left arm around outside. And you can pull in on the top of the shin or under the thigh, whichever works better for you. Right? If you are more practiced, this feels really easy for you. Think of sinking your outer right hip. Think of reaching your right knee to the right. Think of pressing all four corners of your back into the mat. We're going to keep the shape of the leg. Keep the shape of the leg, but release the left foot to the floor. Okay, we're going to be lifting towards bridge in this figure four position. So hands down, step into your left foot and send the hips forward and up. Hold for me. And if you find this not working for you or just doesn't feel good, you have any back pain like that, you just put the right foot down next to the left foot. So you're doing a traditional bridge instead. Totally optional challenge as an add-on. Send the right foot forward in space so the knees are level, but the right leg is straight. You're still trying to keep the hips level. Only the left foot is on the floor. And then bend the right knee, and we will come back down to the mat. Take a moment, take a breath. And then we switch sides. So the left ankle comes over the right knee. Figure four, send the left hand between the legs, right hand around the outside. Again, you're holding underneath the knee or over the shin. Completely your choice. Try to ground the back body into the mat. Think of sending your left knee out to the left. Sinking your outer left hip down. Usually, even if we're pretty open with the right adjustments, you can find something here. We'll just release the right leg, placing the foot onto the floor, preparing yourselves for bridge in the figure four, or regular bridge if it doesn't work for your body. Stepping into the right foot, send the right knee forward, send the left knee out to the left. Imagine you could get the hips level, even though you're only pressing into the right foot. Try to hold it. And notice if you're tightening parts of the body, like your face, right? You don't need it, don't use it, try to relax it. Totally optional add-on, send the left leg forward. So the knees are level, the left toes are pointing forward, but the right leg is the only one supporting you. And then put the left foot on the floor and bring yourself back down to the mat. I'm going to walk my feet wider and then just tip the knees together. So constructive rest, put your hands palms up. So if this feels good to you, this could be where you stay, right? Especially if you find that lying flat on the back is uncomfortable, in particular around the low back area. This might be a better alternative. When you're ready, you can take it to a traditional Shavasana if that's what you prefer, which is just legs stretched out or straight. And likewise, if you don't want to lie down at all, you can always just take a few moments in seated with your eyes downcast or closed. Take some breaths here, completely relaxed, allowing your physical relaxation to hopefully seep down into some more conscious relaxation. You have the time today to stay in your final rest for another 3 or 4 minutes. That would really be ideal. But if you need to get on with your day, start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Rotate your wrists and your ankles. Bring life back to the arms and the legs. Just gently, slowly waking up the body. And as the knees come to the chest, you can shift your weight to one side. Just pause, feel that in the body. Noticing any internal shifts. And in your own time, bring yourself up to a comfortable seated position. Thank you so much for sharing your day with me. Thank you for your energy, for practicing yoga, and especially for all of your efforts. Have a wonderful rest of your day.